guys, welcome to Jakarta, Indonesia. By the pool, what an amazing setting, and we are with Gibran Chuzaefah, the co-founder and CEO of eFishery, the big winner of Seedstars Jakarta.
Thank you. Well, I feel great. It's an honor for me, and I didn't imagine I'm the winner of this prominent competition, and it's so great. It's really great.
Did you expect to win?
No, I didn't expect to win. I didn't expect to win at all because my other startups here is very good. They had a very great traction. They really had a good business, and they pitch a lot better than me. And
you pitch well, man. You pitch really well.
Oh, really? And that's why I didn't expect it when you said my name and you said my startup, and I was really surprised.
So tell us, what's eFishery all about?
Well, eFishery is a smart feeding system for aquaculture. We are in aquaculture business, and it is simply a device that can automatically feed your fish if you have a pond, and it can sense the fish appetite and adjust the amount of feed given to your fish appetite, and it is give report of the feeding performance directly to your smartphone. So it's simply Internet of Things in aquaculture.
Wow. So who would use it?
Our users right now is the individual farmers and the large aquaculture companies. As long as you have ponds and you need something to manage the pond in the feeding terms, you can use eFishery.
So what's the big problem you solve for them? They don't know how much they should feed the fish, or what exactly is it?
Yeah, the biggest problem, we have two biggest problems in feeding right now. Because first, the feeding cost is the biggest cost in aquaculture. It is 70% of the total cost in aquaculture. Yeah, it is very big cost in aquaculture. But it is done inefficiently because it's done by unskilled labor.
So
just throw it, and you cannot control it. Sometimes the labor doesn't stick to the procedure. Sometimes even they steal the feed, and we don't know how to control. So we don't know how to control the exact amount of feed given to the fish. And the feed is very crucial in the aquaculture business, because if your fish doesn't get to it, your fish doesn't grow. And that is the biggest problem. The biggest problem is how you can control the amount of feed given to your fish, and it is accordingly to the fish need. So it is not over, and it is not under the need of the fish.
Wow. So how do you come up with that idea? Like, what was your main wow moment when you were like, oh, I need to solve this?
Well, I was a fish farmer myself. I had 8 ponds of catfish ponds, just a little ponds. But back then I connect with big farmers in Indonesia, and I talked to them, and some of the friends I got, they had 300 ponds here, so it's quite big business. And I asked him, what is the biggest problem, and they said exactly the same thing that I said to you. And I just came up with the idea, what if I have a technology that can automatically, you can control your feeding with your phone. What if I have that technology? Would you buy it? And he easily said, yes, I would buy it. And I would buy it for all my ponds here. So, wow, it's 300 from one user. It's quite a lot. Then I got home, and I started Googling how I can make this product, because my background is biological science. I don't understand any about technology, how to build a device and else.
Right.
And I just start research it, and I start ask for my friend to be my co-found this product, and we start research, and we just start selling it, and I see that we start this idea from the demand and from the problems that I solve the problems, and the problems is also the opportunity that we can get, and that's the story behind eFishery.
It's really interesting for us because we see a lot of startups, trying to reinvent the wheel in like social networks and e-commerce and so on. So it's quite refreshing.
Yeah.
Right here we talk about fish. It's quite refreshing to see that kind of innovation.
Yeah.
Is it like, how big is that kind of industry in Indonesia?
Excuse me?
How big is the fishing industry?
Well, aquaculture industry is very big in Indonesia. There are 1.6 million aquaculture businesses in Indonesia, and hundreds of millions of ponds in Indonesia. So it's quite big, and it's millions of people is depending the livelihood in aquaculture business, and we see the problem is the consumption of fish is growing. It is growing 30% annually. But the increasing of the investment in the aquaculture business is quite low. It's just 5% annually, because people don't want to invest in aquaculture business because it's unaccountable, it's not too profitable, and it's lack of technology, lack of innovation. It's not too sexy, and we want to solve the problems. We want to fill the gap between that problems to the eFishery. So it is quite big, the industry, and the total production of the the aquaculture business in last year is 5.7 billion US dollar, and it's just in Indonesia, and it is growing 27% in 2013. So it is big and rapidly growing. Yeah, because
are you looking outside?
Excuse me?
Are you looking outside of Indonesia?
Yeah. Outside Indonesia, especially in Southeast Asia, like Vietnam, Thailand. Thailand is one of the biggest shrimp producers in all over the world. In emerging market, when it is in maritime country like China, in India, I think the industry is as big and even bigger than Indonesia. Yeah.
It's quite interesting, problematic, because as I was saying, we get a lot of those tech things that are really just like social networks or e-commerce. But so here you're trying to solve a problem related to aquaculture, or we see a lot of projects related to bringing tech to agriculture.
Yeah.
It's a big trend.
Yeah.
What's the main challenges you face as a tech entrepreneur trying to bring that to a chunk of population that's not necessarily used to smartphones, not necessarily used to technology yet? They're not the first adopters, right? Usually if you go into cities, you find the first adopters of this technology. But you go to places where the first adopters are not there. How do you convince those people to use the technology? What are the main challenges you face?
Yeah, well, that is the main challenge, because people is not familiar with new technology. They are very conventional, traditional with the practice of the daily business, and that to convince them, we need to do research. We need to give them proof, and that's how we come up. Because we did our research, and we asked some farmers that want to adopt our first technology, and they are big farmers and big companies, and we give them some data, because our product can reduce 21% of the feeding cost, and why don't you try it? It can reduce 21% of the feeding cost, and the adoption is to get them adopt our technology is challenging, and that's why we give a free trial for one cycle of the production. 2 to 3 months we give free trial. Just try it, and when you like it, you can buy it. Give it away for free. Yeah, it's something like that. And we are partnered with CSR program with some bank in here, and some big companies to CSR program to support that free trial. So that's how we solve it.
So it was pretty cool today, because we had startups coming from all across Indonesia. The Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy was our main partner. They're absolutely awesome. So they brought startups from all around Indonesia.
Yeah.
So you don't come from Jakarta?
No.
Where do you come from?
I come from Bandung.
Bandung, which is, can you tell us where it's in Indonesia?
Well, Bandung is the capital city of West Java. It is 2 to 4 hours driving from Jakarta.
Not too far.
Not too far. Yeah.
And so people say there are more startups there than there are in Jakarta.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's talk like Silicon Valley of Indonesia, because we are building Technopolis. It's like Silicon Valley in Indonesia, exactly Silicon Valley in Indonesia. And we have ITB, Institute of Technology Bandung. It's like MIT of Indonesia. So, well, that's the environment to build a startup. So Jakarta is more like corporate. It's more like big business when the big fish is swimming around. So in Bandung, it's like small fish and cute fish and startup fish that will grow big.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, that's
so
cool.
what's so special about it? You say it's the infrastructure, the fact that there is a university there.
Yeah.
What else? What makes it so special there?
I don't know. It's just the environment. It's more cool than Jakarta. Jakarta is very hot and humid, so yeah, it's less expensive. Jakarta is so expensive. It's easy to get the talent because university. There are a lot of universities there, and I don't know. It's just for me, it's emotional in Bandung because I studied in Bandung, and I met my wife in Bandung, so it's more emotional, yeah.
Right. What kind of startups do you see there? Because you're quite a specific case, right?
Yeah.
I guess you don't have like aquacultural startups in Bandung. What kind of other startups do you see there when you talk to your folks?
Well, a lot of startups is in e-commerce and social network, and some other startups are trying to solve the problems in more social, like there are a lot of social innovator in Bandung, and they make social innovator circle and make social project out of them. So it's varied. It's very different startups there, from digital startups to culinary business and a lot of different startups.
We were talking today with Gibran Chuzaefah, who's one of our joint members, co-organizer here in Indonesia, about the need for entrepreneurs in Indonesia to think global, right?
Yeah.
Because Indonesia is the fourth most populous country in the world. It's a massive market. It's one of the biggest market. It's the biggest market in Southeast Asia, and so the same how entrepreneurs need to stop thinking just Indonesia and start thinking global. Do you see that happening? You think global eventually, but do you see that happening in the mentality, or is it still very much like I want my business to be big in Indonesia and I'm just done?
Well, I don't see much of that mentality in all startups in Indonesia, but some startup is very outstanding in that matters, and they are running onto the vision in globally and running globally. But it's not in all our startup founder here. So well, that's unfortunate. But we are building the environment, and we are spreading the spirit of going global and startup globally from Indonesia.
Because if you look at the Indonesian culture and kind of the Indonesian mindset, would you say it's entrepreneurial from the start? Would you say, like it's like when we went to Korea or Japan, people tend to be quite risk adverse, so they prefer corporate jobs, and it's hard to bring them to entrepreneurship. Would you say it's the same thing in Indonesia?
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing in Indonesia. Well, I have my experience as well, because when I graduated from my study, from my college, my parents pushed me to just try to look for a job in corporate, in a big business, in a big corporate, when you can wear tie and you can wear a suit every day and you look cool. Yeah, but that's my own challenge. But and I heard my friends is also faced the same challenge. Either they are entrepreneurs or they are the workers. But they are the main challenge, because the culture is quite risk averse. It's oriented in work oriented in more corporation job and something. I think it's about the education system and more.
So do you feel education? You're freshly graduated. I mean, you graduated just a few years ago. Do you feel like universities and programs in Indonesia are trying to push people more towards like creating their own business, or is it still very shy?
Well, it's getting better year by year. When I was in college, it's not the entrepreneurial mind is not that much. It's in
that was like how many years ago?
It's like 7 years ago. 7 years ago. But right now, competition everywhere. VCs are coming from every part in the world, and like Seedstars, and this event it's very helpful for us, and it's very helpful to build the entrepreneurship spirit in Indonesians. So it's getting better.
So 7 years ago, nothing.
No, 7 years ago, almost nothing.
The word startup, do people even use it?
Excuse me?
The word startup, do people even use it? There were startups.
Yeah, but not that much. Just I don't know. Was there any startups like right now? Everyone everyone is trying to make their startups, but in 2007, in 7 years ago, no, nothing. Yeah, almost.
So how do you see what's mainly helping entrepreneurs here in Indonesia right now? What do you feel is the most supportive? Has been the most supportive players and actors here in Indonesia?
Well, I think the most supporting players is the communities, in either startup communities or in investors communities like GP incubators and something like that, and the more of bottom up movement, because I don't see back then I don't see the good program from government to create more of a better environment for startups.
Well, so now there is the Business Connect program.
Yeah, Business Connect program. Yeah,
that's really helping a lot.
yeah, that's a lot.
But that's just happening in the past few years.
Yeah,
right?
just happening in the past few years. But it was starting by the movement from incubator and from the startups itself.
Are you looking for funding?
Yeah, I'm looking for funding.
How do you go about looking for funding in Indonesia? How does it work?
It's very hard.
Yeah?
It's very hard. I don't know, because when you talk to conventional investors, they don't value your startup so much. I usually run a project in let's say in petroleum and some project like that, and I get 70% of the profit, and they ask to get 60 or 70% of my equity in my early stage. This is nonsense, and there are a lot of conventional investors that think like them. But right now it's getting better. But I see that in some VCs that are coming is VCs from Singapore, from Japan, from US, from Europe. I don't see any much VC that run well from Indonesia.
Right.
Yeah, so the investment environment is not too good. And I don't know, because maybe it's about the stock market, and maybe, I don't know, it's just happened in a lot of investors.
So you're starting to see more Japanese VCs and Singaporean VCs here in the country?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like you never saw them before?
Yeah, I never saw them before, and I think, in the past year, there are a lot of VCs that are coming in here in Indonesia, because, well, Indonesia is a very big market. You said that before. Indonesia is a big market, and it's a big opportunity for investment.
So it's a big market, but it's also a very fragmented market.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just 250 million people who speak the same language, think the same way, have the same culture. It's all very different.
Yeah.
Can you tell a bit more? I don't know if our audience really truly understand how culturally diverse Indonesia actually is. Could you give us a summary of how diverse that is? How many different main chunk of population, different languages there are in Indonesia? Just Indonesia 101 for everyone.
Well, there are a lot of native languages in Indonesia, so Indonesia is very I don't know what to say. It's so much. It's different. When you go to Sumatra and you go to Borneo, we are the continental country, and when you go to each part of this country, you met different type of person, and you met different type of demand, and and I think that's one of the challenge. That's the main challenge to get the market. I'm not sure, but I'm more than 10 languages in here. The 10 native languages.
Just in Jakarta.
Just in Indonesia. Jakarta is mostly speak Indonesian. But when you go to East Java, they speak Javanese. When you go to the Sumatra, even in the Sumatra island, they can speak Medanese, they can speak Padangese, and there are a lot of native languages. So, well, it's the beauty of our culture.
Yeah. So it's the beauty, but it's also a headache for an entrepreneur
yeah,
to sell your product. Right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
how do you sell your products?
Well,
the country is so different.
Well, we are unity in a language in Indonesia. So when you can speak Indonesia, you can grow your business in any part of the world, mostly. But most startups is targeting in the big cities, like in Jakarta, Bandung, Surabaya, and some of biggest cities here in Indonesia. And it is very advanced, more advanced people with more educated people with with fluency in English and Indonesia, so it's not a problem when you're targeting in the big cities.
So we say it's easier to do B2B compared to B2C in Indonesia for that reason, is that you can use Indonesian in the B2B relationship pretty much anywhere?
Well, maybe, I don't know. I don't know, I'm not sure about the other business, but with my business it is easier to approach in B2B model, because the B2C model, especially in fish business, it is in remote area, scattered all over Indonesia, so it's harder to distribute the product to all over the country. But when we partner to the feed manufacturers or feed distributors, it makes our business easier.
So have you ever been to Switzerland?
No, not yet.
Have you ever been to Europe?
No,
Never?
it will be my first time.
First time,
yeah.
Swiss fondue, everything?
Yeah, it's really, I'm really excited.
What do you look to have achieved from now by the time you come in February, in about 6 months, to Geneva?
Well, right now we already sold 150 units with more than 1 billion rupiah, or almost 100,000 US dollar in revenues, and our target in this year is sold 250 units, or more than 200,000 US dollar in revenues. So we want to sell as much as product as we
You're turning
spend.
profitable, is that true?
Yeah.
You're already profitable?
No, we're not profitable. Yeah, I will be. We will be profitable. Well, I said it to my investor when I pitch. I will be profitable in next year.
Okay.
So it's not too hard for us to be profitable, because we sell our product and we get money. Not most of our digital startup, you need to give free service and you monetize it after some certain point. But we can monetize at the first step.
Well, I look forward to meeting you there, man.
Yeah, of course.
It's gonna be cool.
That's gonna be cool.
Indonesia will come to you in Switzerland to teach you how to feed your fish. So watch out.
Ciao.
And, see you, man, in Switzerland.
See you again.
That works.
Wow, that's
and we're gonna go swim right there.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.